Hey, Larry Reedman on weed. We need headphones, man. I guess I feel so out of touch. For the April 19th, it's Bicycle Day here on the Grinder and in the entire world. Do you know why they call it Bicycle Day?
Tell me why they do.
Because this was the day that the renowned scientist Albert Hoffman, with great malice, took I believe it was 200 mic hit of LSD and set sail for places unknown.
On his bicycle.
Yeah, well, he originally had it soaked on his hand, and then he rode his bicycle, and he was like, wow, what's going on here? And then he realized, well, wow, you know what? Let me see if I can do it in a scientific study. And stories say that he actually took small microdoses for the rest of his life of
LSD.
Yeah. 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 I mean, if you can make it, I mean, I guess you can, do all that. So, good day to you, Supersonic
Just
Chronic.
Going off on the LSD tangent. First thing
on the LSD trip. Yeah, that's the.
I'm doing well. We've been out all day out at the facility, getting things put together, moving things in, and trying to look at where to do different things to be proactive in the event of some inclement weather. But the beauty of our spot is that it's like, even if it rains, it don't matter. It's covered. We're like covered everywhere. So someone wanted us to make sure to let people know, don't be scared off from the rain, because it's not like an outside event, which it isn't. It is actually.
There you go.
We've actually been able to make some changes so that if it does rain, because who knows, tomorrow we could have sunshiny and then tornado and then
Never know.
you never know what's going to happen.
Snow-nado.
I mean, I've been looking at it. It was great, then it was bad. Then it was great, then it was bad. I was like, it's all within a couple of days of each other. So you never know what's going to happen. So, but the nice thing is this is a state-of-the-art facility for Chronic Palooza this weekend. And we've got a huge space inside. We've got a huge pavilion. It's not just like your little pavilion with it's a huge pavilion that's just like you're inside even if you're outside. So, and there's walkways that cover things. So even if it is, and there's gravel, so you don't have to deal with being in the mud and all that good stuff. If it were to rain, again, I'm not claiming it. I'm claiming sunshiny and beautiful is what I'm claiming.
Exactly.
Because if we claim that, that's what we're going to get. The weed gods are going to have grace on us. And
There it is, said right from the universe. How do you get that going there, AP? That's pretty wild. AP on the ones and twos, reverberating from the heavens. How do you get that? Oh.
Party foul.
So
So anyways, it's coming along quite nicely. I've never been able to get out there and set up this early. It's usually literally right before. You still got it going, the volume. I just didn't know if you could hear it, the earphones on your head. So, so we actually were able to get all of the pipe and drapes put in, and they got the big tent put up outside, and we were able to get a lot of stuff unloaded, and it's just coming together quite nicely. I'm super excited.
sesh pods going in.
Sesh pods are up there ready to get going in.
The stage of elevation is getting ready to pop off. Yeah, turn on my mic tonight there, AP. I forgot to tell you that about last night's beginning of the broadcast. Anyway, yes, the AP doing a bang-up job out there. Yeah. And just everything. Helicopter rides, they bring the helicopter in yet?
No, they're going to bring them in Saturday.
The pony rides? Ponies out there yet?
Coming in Saturday. Everything's coming Saturday, except the vendors. Y'all make sure that you guys get out there 12 to 6 on Friday. Come get your credentials. You get all your booth information. Y'all can start setting up. That way you don't got to stress out on Saturday. Get it all knocked out. Get everything set up, and then you'll be good to go. We'll be opening up the doors on Saturday at 12. So, but yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
It's Palooza action, and if you need some tickets, go over to www.chronicpalooza.com or Ticketstorm, or the competition still runs till the award ceremony, which is taking place at the Criterion, which the you're going to have a chance to be a celebrity overnight.
Yeah, you are, because Twista
is coming down.
You guys know that he's the Guinness Book of World Records fastest rapper?
There you go.
He won it.
That's even more prestigious.
More prestigious.
Yes. And if people want to
Fun
come
fact.
to the Criterion to see Twista,
They want to come to Criterion to see Twista. I am having a conversation with the Criterion tomorrow because at this moment, the award ceremony is dinner, complete dinner, where you're going to have the catered meal. We're all going to dress up in our beautiful cocktail attire and the black tie.
I'm sure glad you finished that sentence there. I was just going
And
down with that.
have the green,
What the fuck is
you
she
know,
saying?
green carpet, all the nine, all that good stuff. Actually have the award ceremony, but I'm looking to see if we can, depending on the setup, we might could have some seating room only, just for seats for people
Go to you
that
guys.
maybe don't want to have the dinner, but still would like to participate and still see the show and dress up and look pretty and handsome and all that good stuff. So I'll know that tomorrow, and if so, I will adjust those tickets and have those available on Ticketstorm as well. But yeah, it's open to not only the people who participated in the competition, but also the general public. So if you want to be a part of it, and it's not just something to do, it's actually going for a really good cause. It's going to the Stop Sear Foundation, which is for children whose parents are currently incarcerated for weed. A big, huge portion of that, all of the online stuff that went for entry fees, that all goes to the kiddos for them. And a large portion of the award ceremony monies raised will go to that as well. And it's unfortunate because there's over 30,000 people still currently incarcerated for weed. So we want to still be very vocal about that. There still needs to be lots of changes made. So this is just an organization that we've had actually for going on 3 years. We are 501c3. We got that this year.
Awesome.
And we're able to always help with we do Thanksgiving for the kiddos. We also do the big thing we do is the Christmas gifts, so we can help get them a smile for their face, you know. And then I'd like to do a back to school thing with some tennis shoes and stuff too. I think that would be pretty cool. Right, we can start in backpacks and stuff like that. So your money does go to that. So it's not just, oh, you're kicking it, and you're going to go to an award show, no, you're going to eat good, and you're going to have fun, smoke good weed, because you can smoke right there at your tables, which is nice. But it's actually going for a good cause. So it's at the end of the day, you got to still be fighting the good fight, because it's not over. We're all out here living our best life. There's lots of people still incarcerated. So.
And that's one of the great things about the Chronic Palooza there is you've set it up that it's a giant palette with all kinds of different,
A big mixture.
yes,
Yeah.
of flavors and colors and all kinds of stuff. And you can come out and meet great vendors like we have here with Captain Kirk's Edibles.
That's right.
We have Kirk and Brandi here with the name of your dispensary is
Cannabis Care of Oklahoma.
Cannabis Care of Oklahoma in, what's the
Del
Midwest?
City.
Del City. And Jules along
Yeah.
for the you work at the dispensary also?
She's our sales rep.
Oh,
You're a
okay.
sales rep.
Yeah,
Nice.
She's
done
the
a
one
great
that's
job.
been hitting the ground
Nice.
running.
her on
It's
board.
all coming back.
Yes.
The,
I have the network.
Yes.
I got the awesome clientele
Yes.
and
Nice.
patients. I mean, really, patients are the ones that demand it. And then it's the bud tenders and the awesome mom and pop stores that I hook up.
It is because tell us a little bit more about Kirk. You're
A legend.
a staple in the industry. You're one in a bunch of cannabis cups out there. Like when High Times was really High Times, when the paper was slick and didn't make my blood run cold when you flip the pages. You know, it was like actually magazine content. And the Chef Ra was in there. I remember reading him and all that kind of stuff. And so tell us a little bit about that. How long you been around there?
Well, I've been doing things for quite a while as far as the cannabis industry. Pretty much all my life. I left Oklahoma thinking they would never, pass here. This would be the last state that would ever let me, grow pot and smoke weed without throwing me in jail. So I ended up in Michigan, to make a long story short there, and really got into it. We opened the first dispensary east of Colorado in 2008 in a little place called Ypsilanti, Michigan, which was Third Coast. And that was different then. That's when weed wasn't cool. So the police weren't cool then, the boot to the face and the M16, been through all that. And was actually able to put out the very first edible back then. It was a blueberry muffin. And we didn't have testing back then. Nobody really knew anything yet. Steve Hill hadn't just come on yet with his Quanticam and all that stuff like that. So it was basically a judging back then of a 1 to a 5-star, 5-star being it was going to kick your ass. Excuse my language, I don't know if you can say it.
Yeah, we were.
But,
all the kids are asleep by now.
So we judged it pretty much like that, and then things got different. And, you know, Michigan kept evolving in different ways from the caregiver system to the metric system, which Oklahoma's
No way.
getting ready to have. So we've
Yeah.
been through that for a while. And as far as the cannabis cuts back then, you know, I've been fortunate enough to win 11 of them. But in the very beginning, when they were coming out, when you first did it, like, I remember when I won my first one in 2011, you were I just was the most happiest person on the world. I mean, I won a High-Times cup.
Yep.
And back then it really meant then, because I was a guy not buying my cups. I didn't have a big company. I wasn't putting in 17 or 20 items. I put in my one little thing. I never could really afford a booth in the beginning, so I didn't have a booth. So to me, I felt it was real and legit. And
Yeah.
everything was different back then. When you got your kid, it was an honor to end up becoming a judge. When you finally got to become a judge at High-Times, and you went to houses and they'd have the judges parties and everybody would be there and all the judges would get their kits and everybody would see everything, and you got special bongs from companies, and people that did the concentrates got special, you know, things to
Rigs and
use
stuff.
and
Yeah.
papers and all kinds of cool things. So it's really different back then. And then, you know, when High-Times kind of went kaput and everything just went to the shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, the shit show that they pulled here in Oklahoma was pretty pathetic. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I've been to a lot of High-Times cuts, but the ones they pulled here was one of the most pathetic things I ever witnessed. And,
And Kirk
Now,
won
how about
his
the-
awards across the country too. That's what it wasn't from like one state. He won in several states.
so I got the
so
win
it's
in
pretty
Seattle
cool
at
as
their
far
very
as-
first cup, and that was very cool. John Sinclair was out there. It was different. The cannabis scene is different, twisted, as you guys know, from what we see nowadays. I mean, back in the industry, the OGs that built it, I mean, standing out there and collecting signatures when it was cold to get it legalized, to find out, I'm sorry to say, I pissed a few people off, I apologize, but legalization, as far as I'm concerned, didn't really help me, and it didn't help the patients out there for what I really got into this for,
Yeah.
because it all went to corporate, and they said, screw you, and you know, the stuff that they're making with, they're wanting us to come down and the OMA's doing this and on your flower and this and this. Well, what about the remediation? What about people doing this and this? You don't know anything about that. And the people making the rules don't know anything about these plants. Or what we brought forth, people here in Oklahoma. There was a lot of you industry leaders that brought many things forth here in Oklahoma. And they got kind of kicked out, like the mom and pops. A lot of these old people, like in Michigan too, and the dispensaries that opened up there, the mom and pops that stood out there and did everything to get this legalization so they could have a store and do what they were doing to be forefront. And we're making that extra money so they could see their grandkids and buy them extra things and have nice Christmas and food in their refrigerator to eat. These poor 70-year-old people that have been doing this no longer have those funds. So they're not seeing their grandkids. They're not eating as much money. They're not paying their bills. They're not getting to take these little trips to go down and see other friends and lavish in their smoke areas. So they got kind of forgot about it. And all the work that they did, you just kind of got booted aside. So for me, that was a sad part to see in the industry.
The evolution of it certainly is, like you said, it goes from being a pure roots thing to more of a commercial side of it, and you lose a lot of that home cooking in the
Breaks my heart.
the transition in there. But we're still out there. That's the good thing.
Still fighting.
We're still, there's a ton of small garden, even though in all the places. I mean, Washington's laws are so bad that, you know, and that's really, I think, one of the problems is the people are so tired of fighting it that they just, the real weeders knew where to get the weed before it went legal. And so they just kind of acquiesce back into the shadows and
And to be honest,
don't have to worry.
let's just not cut the cake here. I mean, black market is rising bigger than it ever has, and they kind of forced them back into that again.
Yeah.
So again, people are meeting at the Walmart parking lot. They're not going to the
Oh, yeah.
dispensaries anymore. They are-
2/3 of the people in the state don't have a card that can smoke. Where are they getting the weed from? You know,
Their
like
friends.
that's yeah, sure.
Willingham, Michigan, once it went legal, the medical people are like, well, why do we need a card now? I can smoke and grow more without having a card now that's legal, then I'll get more trouble having a card.
Their evolution was a lot different. Their caregivers grew their market. We're like, here, you guys didn't really have much of a caregiver market. You drew the 788, and then they passed a law that said dispensaries, this is what you need to apply, this is what you need. And it actually is one of the better programs in the sense of getting started. Because like in Michigan, you need 250,000 just in assets alone. And a lot of people can't.
And they want 100,000 in liquid assets right along with that.
One of the reasons why, Kirk chose to come back to Oklahoma, one, it's his hometown, and two, it was much easier to get started, and bring about.
Well, we've been
the
also
licensed
sending
market.
back money here in the beginning to help fund get this passed here in Oklahoma. And again,
Sure.
I'll be honest, I never thought it would happen. I mean, because I can't bring up her name right now because I can't think of it because I get a few dabs. So I want to say it. There's a lady, Indian lady, and forgive me for not remembering her name, but she got in trouble for a roach here. They caught her with maybe about that much of a joint.
I remember her.
And she spent 2 or 3 years in prison. Almost
We had her on the show, right?
I think
Teresa Nightingale or Nightenberg,
yes,
something
we
like
talked to her
that.
on Chronic Palooza 1 or
Yeah.
something. She had just got out right at Chronic Palooza 1, and I remember that story. Either we had her on the show or we're going to have her on the show.
Heard
or she
about
showed up
her.
at the
So we
Palooza or
helped
something,
in
but I
some
know
funding
exactly
back
who
with
you're-
her case back then
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I just thought, man, I never wanted that to be me. Growing up here as a kid, I mean, and then to find out, meth is no big deal here.
No.
It kind of blew my mind, But when I grew up as a kid, this was considered as bad as meth. And I'm going, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, I got all my teeth. I'm sorry, I mean, it just, I'm glad there was marijuana. It really saved me from getting off a lot of stuff, pills and everything. I wish they could give me all Coca-Cola, then I'd be a champion right now. But
That's a hard
That's the hardest drug in the whole world is sugar.
I just
Sugar.
see my daughter
Oh,
today, and I got
shoot.
slapped in the face with the
That's
sugar.
why my mom
Girl.
told me it's horrible. I start having hard, bad headaches. So I don't drink it.
That's exactly.
I'm like,
that's
yeah,
why I
I'm
keep drinking it.
I support
I know, I have
Starbucks.
to. It's required.
It's like you talk about with caffeine.
Starbucks gets a
Well,
portion of my
speaking
money.
of awards, you haven't seen dun 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 what you
Oh.
possibly will win.
We're excited.
Dun dun dun.
You have the prettiest
It's a
ones.
beautiful award.
Beautiful.
Check that baby out.
Wow.
That's nice.
It's heavy.
Wow. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got a
lights are
rechargeable
always the
little
nice
charger.
touch.
And then it comes in this fancy little box.
That's very cool.
Such.
I'd like to say to all those out there, we got to do the concentrate box. Judge that one to all you guys out there that did the concentrates and entered your product in there. A good shout out to you guys. Had a lot of fun judging your kit and your products.
Yes, we did.
And I guess you'll
Wow.
find out who's going to win and who we picked. But we
Yeah.
had a very good time judging the concentrate. So again, to all you guys that put your entries
cool.
in, you did a good job.
Good.
That's the big crust,
Well, we
too.
definitely
What's
very
up, Rob?
pleased. I think the concentrate we had the most entrants in that particular category, which was great. But we had some really great entries, just like yourself. You were an entrant, and actually,
enter in edibles.
a lot of people may or may not know, but you can participate even if you're not able to get the judge box. And you can go online and you can
got one.
actually vote for free. And so you just go up to chronicpalooza.com, you pick best of products category, click down, go to gallery, and it'll show you all the entries, and then you can sort by each individual one, and then you can look at you can look at the pictures, you can research a little bit more about it, and you can vote for free every single day. And so it's 25% of the actual competition is the online. We wanted to be able to let everyone try to participate if
Yeah,
they couldn't
no,
get
it's
the
cool.
box, because there's only so many judges that can be done because of the samples number. We can afford to have 60,000 samples given out to all the patients, So we had to keep it to a number. That was a good that everybody felt good about. And so, so you could definitely go online and vote that way. But if you do still want to participate, there are some judge kits still available. You also just go to chronicpalooza.com, become a judge, click that button, fill out your information. I'll shoot you a text message with all the details on where to go, which locations and all that. We're kind of shuffling some boxes to other locations that are to try to mix it up because some flour
Supply
went
and
first,
demand,
some
yeah.
concentrates went first, and I'm like, okay, let's rearrange the boxes so that everybody, because we've got them in Sapulpa, Bartlesville, South Oklahoma City, and El Reno. I tried to mix it up.
Next year you can have it in Dell City.
That's right. You said that, so we'll have to do that. So, but yeah.
I would like to send out a shout out to Exotic Meds of Seminole because they
Yes.
got your judging kit for the flower.
Okay.
And I know there's some people grumping out there, but I'll tell you what, these people were more happy to have their kit just to be a part of this event
That's what I thought.
and just to be a judge, so they didn't bitch about some of the bitching I've heard about there in the kits, and I'm sorry you guys went through that because I've done these kind of things before
It
too.
always that's part of the game.
And it is what it. You're right. You can't please everybody, but I just want to say to those folks, and they'll be out there at our booth too, helping us out, that they were very happy to have their flower kit. And I believe Jules got the edible kit
Did you get that?
Yep.
when she's
Okay.
candy cat.
Of
yeah.
course.
I wonder what you thought about the drink. I know that's a catch-22, but it is mine. I can do whatever I want to do. But I wanted to put my drink in there.
Well, she's also had the Cosmic Crunchers, and I haven't asked. So I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
lie.
well,
we haven't
I'm
asked
just
any
curious.
questions or seen anything.
know.
So
No, I think
everything-
There's
There's a lot
at
of
the end of the day,
nummies.
it's just-
There's a
it's
lot of
getting-
nummies.
Getting the opportunity to be
Yeah.
able to try all the new brands. I mean,
Yeah.
there was really
That's the funnest
I
part
was
about it.
pleased
Yeah, I get
because,
to
you know,
buy stuff I don't always get.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Like,
see
I
a lot
get
of things you've never
everything.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Larry and I come across a lot of people, him especially, he's out more kind of mixing and mingling than I am these days, it seems like. But we had a lot of new growers, new processors, new brands that have popped up, which is exciting to show that it's still thriving. And to be able, because we haven't heard of half of them. There were some really great products. And that's the thing is, the boxes are filled, we would hope, with people who feel very confident about their product. They're proud of their product. They took a lot of pride to try to give a good product, whether it be from the product, the packaging, the whole package or whatever. But so you're getting top shelf type things in those boxes. And so that was one of the things I know it's good to look forward to, that at least you're getting a box that's got at least the best that we could find, or people that want to
Clean, tested
participate.
stuff
Yes,
also, which is important,
absolutely. Yeah.
so.
I liked it this way because because it's more about the exposure at this point. They have too many of those contests where when you have 49 entries and then here's the 3 winners, or the
One winner. There's
the
only
one winner and the
There's only one trophy
the
per category.
nobody remembers even the one winner.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like that's because at one time it was prestigious when you had the High Times label on your
Or correct.
illegal weed that you were going to sell. It did. It really
You're better
did.
off not to put that on there.
That's the crazy part about it. But California, they still do that. They still kind of believe in that world. Well, there's so many people out there. Whereas I think there wasn't ever really a gray time here. It was totally off, and now it's totally
Totally
on.
on.
Yeah,
That's
there's
true.
no like, hey, let's
Yeah.
ease in a little bit, see how we feel. It's like no, it's
Yeah. They were all in.
full. Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
which I'd rather have it that way than it. And then that way they can't get their arms around it.
They are. Well, and that's a product of their own fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way to go about things, even in the legal ways, and you can see by the legislation that they're passing that they're just totally, rounding tail. It's like they're going into places, there's people that are saying ridiculous things,
Yeah.
and they're finding these things out to where they have to remind us that we're all patients, and this isn't.
Yeah, the do's and don'ts they posted the other day. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
You know,
man.
Thank
it
you
was like-
for sharing.
It was so kind of you to
Appreciate
remind
that.
me, you know what I mean? But marijuana's always had, a medical purpose, and then it's always had its other purpose in its
What
social
gets me
world,
the
you
most,
know?
What burns me the most, it was the patients. Again, it was the medical, the whole patient thing. Me getting off my pills, the whole patient thing that brought it forward. So it's really a slap in my face, in patients' faces, when I hear someone come across and tell me that it's not medical.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we are the ones that brought it forward. I understand that you have the power to strip it from me because you have the money and the contacts and I don't.
No, they have the gun.
What are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. Well, now I mean, I saw Swerve up there at the this last CannaCon up there at the convention, and he was just frustrated, you know. Remember back in the day, you know, I had a big place up in the front, and people would be flooded in here, and, you know, we were somebodies, and, you know, the world has changed, you know, don't go the way it used to, and, you know, it has. It is different from the market that we were on, you know, when we were on the High Times things, or even some of the other ones. I mean, the Boston Freedom Rally in the beginning, one of the best marijuana events, other than the one I went to last year at Chronic Palooza, was cool.
There you go.
Because I got to
We had a
smoke
great
in the
time
J.C.
last
Penney buildings where I used to shop. I get a dab in there with my rig. I'm thinking, if my mom was alive to know that I was smoking and doing a dab in J.C. Penney's
Yes.
was one of the coolest things. So for me, that was just a trip.
great.
I had a blast over doing that. But
Yeah.
again, shout
That
out
was
to the
good
Boston
times.
Freedom Rally. I don't know, Larry, if you ever
I never
got
made
a
it there,
chance to
but
make it, do you?
certainly
I will
famed,
tell you
that's
that
for
is one
sure.
of the best marijuana events. And then there's another one in Hawaii that's really good that I've been blessed to go to.
What makes them so great?
The people. And it's not the corporate stuff that are there. It's still the caregivers there. It's still the real people, the small mom and pops in the booths there that are selling their thing. Not the big lavish guys. It's the ones that can afford.
It's actually the people that were
booth.
brave enough to sell weed in the open and not worry about the cops coming to get them. That's one of the things
Yep.
with Seattle Hemp Fest was
Yeah, that's
it's
one.
The edgy people.
Call it the backpack.
it's a-
version, you know.
I think
Yeah,
too, for some of
it's-
them,
Backpack
it's
girl,
vendors.
yeah.
I wouldn't say that's true for all vendors, because even when I went
Well,
there, I obeyed, you know, the rules, you know,
right.
and I haven't had people coming up, you know, do you got any real THC candy? I'm like, well, man, I got CBD, that's all I'm allowed here to sell in Hawaii. Well, the guy down here is selling it. Well, I'm not that guy, I'm sorry, I don't want to go to jail in Hawaii, it's freaking hot here. But,
Little lava.
doing, you know, I was really kind of mad at that in the beginning. You know, my butt was kind of chapped over that because I was watching people make hand over fist money, and I'm over here trying to peddle CBD, which I believe in. But again, people weren't there for CBD; they were there for the THC. So, with that said, though, I've been invited back because I was one of those that got to obey those rules and did obey those rules. So this weekend or this year in August,
'Cause you
Brandi and I
don't
get
put
to go out there for
you
the
know, you're not
expo.
putting them at risk or at
Right.
jeopardy.
Which they
too.
almost got shut down at that time during then, and it was really a big deal to them because they were going to lose their license. And you know how this is, people doing ghetto shit. Excuse me. Would you get on your side
Yeah.
while you're working, and you've done put all this hard
I
work
have to go like
into
this, like, oh God.
Yeah,
As the organizer, I'm like, oh crap.
yeah.
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 Stop that!
Oh, there he's like, party on!
Yo, come check this out. Come check this out.
Turn it off!
Yeah,
So
yeah. But that's all.
That was
part
the
of it.
best
I
emoji.
mean, it was great. You know, but shit, like, man, why my spot? Hey, but you have something cool that you showed me a picture of that you're gonna bring out at the Palooza. Are you still bringing it out to Palooza?
and that is a blueberry ice cream, homemade ice cream, and we freeze dried it into a Millennium Falcon mold.
Yeah.
So the picture you saw was it before it went in,
Uh huh.
and then you'll see it.
Cool.
I thought you were talking about the
Pray
rolling
that it-
tray.
Well, I was talking about the rolling tray.
I was talking
too,
about the
but
rolling
no,
tray.
that also,
Yeah, we were talking-
the
we
cute
know.
rolling tray.
Yes, I will. Well, what started with that rolling tray.
I was like, you
in-
showed me a picture of
in
that
Ann
too.
Arbor. And it was at the Hash Bash there where John Sinclair was, and it was this huge weed party, but there was
No
nowhere
tables.
to roll your weed on except the street, or on your knees, or if you couldn't find a mag, there was nowhere to roll a damn joint.
That's fucking great.
So one year I thought, well, what the hell? And I went to a Halloween party dressed as a one-night stand, and I had the table as you saw me, and it had, you know, the number on the back, 8675309, Jenny's panties and a pack of matches, and I had the light on where you could pull the chain and everything, but people were rolling on me all that night. So I started thinking, damn, Hash Bash is coming up. So I just took everything off and made it into a rolling tray and went to Hash Bash. And I gave out free
I would've put a
papers.
tip
I
jar
didn't
up
charge
there.
anyone. Well, here's the deal. I didn't charge anyone for anything. I always got papers, so I had supporters and blunt wraps. And I would take everything, and I kind of figured it was my civic duty to be part of Hash Bash to do this. So I would not take tips. I would never,
Oh.
you know, you could roll a joint up on me. You didn't have to give me anything. I didn't want anything. You could roll a joint up, tell me to, you know, hug off and walk on. Or you could sit and smoke it with me. Or if they left you a little, I would share it with
At the end of the day, you got
somebody
mail.
else.
Yeah, he's got like piles of weed.
I
Tell
never-
him how you met Giddy, because
And that's kind of how I met Giddy Up, and I don't know if you folks
Sure.
know who Giddy
Yeah.
Up. The first time he rocked up on my tray, and it was at an event there, and he just started rolling a joint. And I slapped his hand. I didn't know who this guy was with a great big mohawk.
Really, Alpha?
What the hell you doing? You didn't ask anything. And later on when we met, he told me that story, and that's funny how we found out. But it was just a fun thing to do. And then, I
Thought you were
remember
a
Danny
prop.
Danko coming up to me at High Times because I took it to Denver in 2014. I had Ed Rosenthal roll on me. I had all the big giants there, the old OGs roll on me. And he came up to me and was like, Captain, you get to see more weed than we do. And I did. I mean, some of you see, you're just like, Some of you're saying, damn, man, did you do this? Hey, you got more of this? Or, sometimes
Where
you
do
would
I
see stuff
find
like
this?
that. Where do I find this at? Or, and sometimes they would leave you stuff, like, here's you a nug or something. And I would always share it because it was just a day of having fun. The most I had rolled on me was 436 joints. We had counters on there. And one day at Hash Bash, Danny Danko was there to judge it. But, the whatever you call that.
That's great. I didn't know about the counter.
Yeah.
The counter.
Had one on the front and the back. So
So we need to break this record, right?
have
This
to.
is
Yeah,
it's
that would
more
be
than
awesome.
430.
We should do
436.
the Charlie's thing on his.
Oh, his joint rolling contest.
him.
That would
I
be
would have
fun.
4 or 5 people on the back rolling at a time, but
See,
yeah,
it's a lot of room.
It's got
Do you,
two
most
sides
people
on
like
it.
go all the
We're
way
trying to-
around.
we're
they
it.
gonna
go all the
call
way
it-
around.
It's the Bad Bitch Takeover Missile Commandress
Commander's
Challenge.
Challenge. Yes, so we're gonna have pink. I gotta buy them. I gotta get them ordered right now.
What's the name of the spinner thing that people use for dabbing? Dabby Susan, I think it is, right?
I gotta find pink paper so we
remember
can
the
roll
spinner
that
ball?
bitch.
Oh, the
The-
Lazy
Oh,
Susan.
They're Lazy Susans, but they're designed for smokers.
Blazy.
Lazy Susan.
Okay.
That's what the name
Yeah.
of the
All
paper.
right.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to have to
I
borrow
was sitting
it
there
as soon as we
dabbing.
get done.
I would have
Susan.
never
Well,
thought of
I
that.
gotta know
Lazy Susan.
brands.
Yeah.
I gotta know.
Because we're gonna have
That's a
them
nice
rolling
brand too. Lazy
pink
Susan's got a
paper
lot of good stuff.
joints for the
Well, that will add
Commanders
to their rolling
competition.
contest to
I
try
like
and roll
future
on it.
rolls.
Yeah.
And again, it was very hard to stand there because at that 2014 that I told you about, I literally rolled 409. They had 419 joints rolled on me. People kept asking me, why in the hell didn't you go to 420? Blah, 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 to make it 420. Guys, I am telling you, literally, after standing in a spot like this for about 5 hours. Now, remember, you got people rolling on you, keep coming up, so you can't move.
Can't go to the bathroom either.
No, you didn't. But you're literally just moving like this.
And the
that's all you
weight-
could do,
the weight
rocking
of
back for
the-
about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, that would be bad on
Is the
your back.
weight of the table leaning
And they're
on your
moving on you?
shoulders? And
It gets heavy after a while, but then it's overcompensated because you're getting high with everyone, and it kind of takes
It's
that
like-
off your shoulders.
That's what I said. Half the time when y'all are in here hitting these rigs and doing all this stuff, I'm like, I'm high by the time I leave just
Oh,
from
yeah.
the breath.
And people are always happy to get free papers and rolling papers, and so.
talk to the dude that's the one night stand over there, and fucking great, man.
It was a
Well,
good
let's
time.
look at some of your stuff. Like, let's look at what all you've got going on and talk about some
Yeah,
of
what
your
can we
items.
find there in
Well, here we put into your contest to find out what we did. This is our version of the freeze-dried Skittles, which we call the Cosmic Crunchers. We carry those in 250, 500 milligrams,
He's going
and
to.
1,000 milligrams.
He can actually put it where you can open it and they can see it.
Oh,
And he's gonna pull it up. Yeah.
Look at that.
ones
So you
are
got the
just
green
going
one
down
going
on the-
through.
You can maybe
Green
put a
screen
few
action.
on the
Put 'em
right
on the
there.
mat.
Sometimes it'll let you see it. You may have to.
I like the.
Oh,
Well, that
I'm
means
sorry,
you're
we
going to have
gotta
to eat
eat
a few of
those.
these carries if
We gotta
I
eat all
put
those.
these
Oh,
out here.
no, we gotta eat them.
You have to just
They're
scoop
good,
them
and
just a
they're
little
so
bit.
uniquely
there.
crunchy.
Nom nom nom. I can handle
There
them.
we go. And then move it up. See where the judge kit is, that blue
Can't
judge
actually.
Yeah.
He can't
Here.
see y'all.
kit. Oh, okay.
Well, something he didn't share is his MS has taken a lot of his sight.
So yeah, for those of you, if you've ever seen me somewhere and I don't wave at you,
Okay,
I
there you
wasn't
go.
really being a jerk. I am legally blind from my multiple sclerosis. So in my left eye, I'm completely blind. I don't drive a car. I haven't since 2004. In my right eye, I've only got about 40%. So I don't see very well. So again, if you see me somewhere and you wave and I don't wave back, I'm not being a dick. I just didn't see you. But if I hear Captain Kirk, you'll see me do it.
Yeah.
I'll wave, and I apologize for that, but it's something I get through, and I play it off pretty well. People just don't know how hard it is to do what I go through, especially in the kitchen, there's all kinds of tricks and things that I have to do and perform and in order to make it through because I don't see like everybody else. So it's different. And eventually, I mean, there has been a time before I won my first cup. I don't know if you guys ever heard this story. Before I won my first High-Times Cup, I actually spent 6 months in the hospital. I woke up one morning completely blind. I mean, I lost all eyesight. I lost everything. Everything below my waist, all my eyesight. That's a lot of shit to take on somebody, man. So freaked me out. I sat in the hospital for about 6 months. It was about 4.5 months I went through with complete eyesight gone. It was a real trip.
Wow.
Very scary. And again, I couldn't feel anything below my waist, so to have them catheterize you every day and everything was tormentor. But I remember finally when some things started coming back, I was watching cooking shows on there, and then I heard about the High-Times Cup coming, and I cooked a key lime cheesecake, and that's how I won my first cup. It was about, I wouldn't say I was out of the hospital, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before I'd done that, after all that I went through. So that was a trip.
And so let's back it up a little bit more. While you were suffering through the affliction, did you have like a vision of a key lime pie, or how does that come into the mix? Were you a chef before?
I wasn't. I've never have been a chef. I haven't had that training. I came from the kind of old school here in Oklahoma where the mammies and the grandmas and the aunts taught you to cook, slapped you upside the head. Boy, did you see it up? Yes, ma'am, I saw what you're doing. That's where my cooking came from here in the South. And the key lime pie just came because I wanted something different. Everybody was putting in gummies and chocolate bars, and I just thought, why in the hell can't I do this? So I cut 20 slices of a key lime pie and stuck it in, and who knows, later on Willie Nelson tried it, and I've had him try it a couple of times and liked it, and that really took me some places that were really nice, thanks to Paul Stanford. And
so you're using true, like, you're using butter at this point in the High-Time stuff, right? There's no distillate out there. That doesn't even
not
exist.
at that point in time then. And even a kilo, or I mean, back then a kilo of CBD would have been like $10,000 or $11,000.
Yeah, so you're using the wheat butter, right? You're using wheat butter.
I was making can of butter my own homemade way.
Which is a lost art out there. I mean, that's really the way we delivered at the edibles back in the day, the ganja goo balls, and I never had I might have seen the Grateful Dead once or twice on the lot. I never found key lime pie, but they would be the ganja goo ball girls, and they would have just...
What is that?
Just rolled. It's just rolled oats and butter and just chocolate chips
It's a good ball of goodness.
and rolled in coconut and
All the
then
good stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe some mushrooms on it.
Oh, shit.
probably a piece of her hair somewhere embedded in it that just be a treat for later.
Just pull it out and flick it.
Yeah. You floss with it afterwards.
It's all good.
It just added to the trip afterwards.
It did, but it was it was made with love, so you didn't taste it. It didn't matter. It just kind
Well, nowadays, you're not really at a
high.
Grateful Dead concert because you don't have the smell of, body odor and BO and
I miss it.
and patchouli and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, it's different now. You know what I'm
You just
talking
made Larry
about.
sit here. He had a moment where he was staring
flashback.
into space. He was reminiscent of a good time.
I miss tour. I miss the walk life.
Tell him how many concerts you've attended.
Oh, quite a few. I seen the Fish over 300, so maybe not 300, close to 300.
I got to see him in Okeechobee. So.
I saw that. It was.
Don't eat the red licorice.
Dude, we ate something that night. That the only thing of the concert I really, really recall was them playing "Here Comes the Sun." They started at right before midnight and played till the sun came up.
Nice.
And
That's why you're
it
letting
was
us rage all night.
it was a cavalcade of
Now
just
we know where it
total
comes from.
nonsense
He always
going
wants to
on out
rage.
there, and it was in the Everglades.
Oh wow.
That you had to drive. It was halfway between the Everglades, like from the Alligator Alley. You were in the middle of Alligator Alley.
It was like Okeechobee, Florida. I mean,
Yeah, it was a super sick location. Yeah. We went in a day early so that we could line up with our campers there. And then I woke up on the second and everybody was gone. I was like, where'd everybody go? What happened? And they're like, man, we're glad you woke up, guy. And we were worried.
my only memory,
worried.
my only memory was don't eat the red licorice. That's the only thing I can remember. That's it. I remember bouncing around the room and don't eat the, that's it.
I remember we'll have to create a show called Psychedelic Stories and just
How's the mushroom thing
just
going here in Oklahoma?
it passed for research, but it didn't get decrimmed. Which, if you'd like to know more about the news of the wonderful world of weed, you can always turn into 710 News.
Yes, you can.
Broadcasting sometime during the fucking day I get it done. But
Do you have a teleprompter?
I do.
I wanted to ask you. I was like, how's this motherfucker remembering all this shit? I was like, he's all fancy and he's got to have a teleprompter. Because he's like talking on the 710 News. He's just looking straight. I'm like, he's got something going on over there. You're
Memorized
so
a
fancy.
script.
You all fancy.
But it gives us good topical stuff to talk about on the show, like
Yeah.
the guys that left their weed on the top of the car and got arrested. No, there's a lot of legislation going around in the entire country. Like, and you're a multi-stater, right? Do you still have your brand back in Michigan?
I'm still looking to try and get in on a licensing there, just because I spent so much time branding myself and being there since 2008. I mean,
Do you have like there's a party there, right? You're famous for a Halloween
party.
Daboween party. There we
And
go.
basically, that was a party in the beginning. You know, when everyone had the dispensaries, everyone was making lots of money. So what I did is I threw a big party, and I went to all the dispensary owners and everything, and got them to put in money. And at this party, Daboween, you could not pay for anything. The rules were you could not pay for nothing. Everything was free. So when you came in, they had food. They had a T-shirt that they got with all the vendors' names on the back. And the only thing that wasn't, free was the weed. You had to bring your own weed. I mean, because they couldn't sell anything back then. But everything else was paid for. The food, the venue, the shirts, everything that they got. And even most of the weed was even kind of back then, the medicine was still handed out because they paid for it. But the one rule was, is that one night of the year, everybody got together, because we all know how people in the cannabis industry can be at neck and neck, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that had to fight. So it was that one night to bury the hatchet and just say, fuck it. If I don't like you and you don't like me throwing a party, just sit your ass over there. It's the one night we're going to be
the inverse purge.
Put on our
Everybody, instead of killing a
freaking
motherfucker, you
love
hug
it.
them, right?
Right.
I love
and I've
it.
seen it actually turn around and work for some people and get some people back
Fuck
together.
yeah.
It even worked for me through some broken relationships. And it was a big party, so it got bigger and bigger and bigger. The last one that I was able to throw, or even the one before that, we had to change it around because of the law. And, and vendors had to come in. But for the most part, everyone that came was free. There was never a charge for it because, again, the vendors put up all this money to pay everything. I wasn't trying to make a money. I was trying to throw a great big badass party for everybody. That's where I wanted to make my name at, was throw a really great party, which I've been successful at for 7 or 8 years. But the thing was, invite everybody free. And if you do that, then the vendors who put all that money out there to throw this party get to make money because that they're going to show up for free. They're not having to pay $1 for this or $5 for this or anything. That money that they're spending goes in those vendors' pockets, which back then were the mom and pops and the caregivers that we all worked with that needed that extra money. That was the older folks, and there was some young mixed ones in between, but basically they were the caregivers that brought that medicine in the forefront. The older people that were needing it for testicular cancer, and for the kids that were freaking out, on autism and things like that.
Yep.
I got to tell you, when I first watched things like that happen and people came to me for medicine back then, that was a really scary thing. So again, these people telling me rules, I don't think ever sat in front and watched a kid on autism and what cannabis did for this kid on autism. And when you watch that change and you physically see that, it starts to click. And who are you to sit up there and tell me and make these rules that this and this, or shoot this kid up with this, or give him this pill like this, or which cut me up? They had me on so many pills I couldn't even walk straight. How can you tell me that? How can you look at any other patient when you give them RSO and their tests come back and the doctor's scratching his head? Oh, well, his testicular cancer's gone. How the hell did that happen? Well, he's been over here on an RSO treatment. Oh, that shit's
It's not
hogwash.
real. Yeah.
Well, you're sitting
we
here
see it
asking
over
me
and over
how
and
did
over.
this appear, and you're calling it hogwash. I don't get it,
But it disappeared.
but it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are things that are frustrating to see, and still happening to this day.
His party was one of the best ways for brands and vendors and caregivers to give back to their community. So that's what most people liked about it. You know, a lot of places it costs $5, $10, $15, $25, $100, depending on what it is that you're going into, to just generally do what we all do, which is get together, smoke a lot of weed, you know, and have a good time, eat some edibles, have a dinner, or whatever. Like he was saying, everybody would come together, pitch in on a kick-ass party, and that's why so many people would attend, because it didn't cost them anything to go hang out with their friends, meet some of these people that they've been buying for a long time, they've never met, so they get to meet Captain Kirk. You know, they would get to meet Jules, or they would get to meet, you know, whoever that they hadn't got to see in a while, or like he was saying, people that have been in the business a long time that needed to squash some stuff. It was an area where you couldn't avoid it, you know. You're in
Because the
same room.
politics were thick. You guys
It is
know
what
how
it
that
is,
stuff
you
is
know.
between
Yeah.
companies,
And that's
so-
everywhere.
So
Well, the
same
money
people
ruins
exist
it all
everywhere.
really much. That's
It did.
the problem of the entire we had talked a little bit earlier about the, you know, legalization and how you felt that it was, you know, it's not been the greatest thing for cannabis really. And I did my thesis in college about how it was better. It was a free market school, and I said it was better to keep weed illegal because there was only one rule against it, right? And so now there's volumes and volumes of how you treat cannabis, whereas before it was just one rule. So for so we need to move that back that way. We'll have the full activist alley there that's going to go on there to Palooza.
We got several nonprofits, and then we do a different. I'm actually still working on a couple. We're waiting for some. I put some invites out to see, hoping we'll see if they'll show up or not.
who did the artwork for your poster, Carrie, if you don't mind me
Was
asking?
it Brian Allen?
Flying Brian Allen.
Yeah.
Did a good job. Very cool.
Yeah,
He does
this
a great
is my
job and
second,
stuff. Yep.
third,
He did the one last year too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one
Yep,
was cool.
we've got that up
That's
in our
me.
shop frame.
Yep.
Larry, where are you at on there?
I'm the
This year he's
skull.
not a bad bitch. He's just a skull.
I'm the skull. I'm the
And
base.
he's the fire breathing out.
the base
Yeah.
of it. And so tell us more about your dispensary, Brandi. Where you can find all of Captain Kirk's edibles, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah,
It's
so we've got all of Kirk's amazing edibles at Cannabis Care of Oklahoma. I'm just a tiny little mom and pop shop in Del City, right there off 15th and Sunny Lane. So right by the highway, nice little skip and a jump.
and you have good parking. You can
We've
swing it in
decent
there.
parking. We're right next to a couple of like a cell phone store and a Covington credit union. Yeah, liquor store.
That's
of
in the
course.
same John.
Oh,
That's
you
good.
go.
And
Bam.
who found your location?
There are a
Was that
lot
you
of
looking for the
dispensaries
location?
that surround
You knew
so-
that they go to buy their, it's the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Well,
Three
you can
punch,
imagine
right?
When it goes legal, then it'll be easier to get that crowd to come over because now they don't want to buy their cards. Don't buy no goddamn card, So
Yeah, there's
you know,
there's obviously going to be benefits to legalization, and there's benefits to a medical program, and hopefully, if anything, the state does a better job at like maintaining both of them versus just trying to collide them together, because there is a need for one over the other,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been bad at like kind of like marketing our products here, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, let's see the ice cream. I want to see we want to show that.
So Dank Matters, one
Oh.
of the biggest things he's been known for, because back in the day, they basically said, hey, you can't have non-self-sustainable products. So that's how we got into freeze drying. Kirk was like, you know what? Let's start freeze drying some of these items that you can, and then experimenting with others, hence how we got into the Skittles, which actually was just kids online, like, doing fun stuff with their parents, and we were like, that's
pretty
awesome.
neat.
We're gonna
Yeah.
figure out how to infuse that. Yeah, and it kind of took off from there, but his Dank Matter's been around for a
Eat
long
it all.
time. Key Lime has one High Times
Touch the
cup.
paper.
We have strawberry and blueberry, and we're getting ready to, launch that really soon.
And those are actually Delta 8s.
yes, that
Right.
way
Those
we
will be
can have that
available
credit.
out of the Chronic
Yes.
Palooza.
We'll have them there at the booth, and there's some CBD stuff we'll have there. We'll have some Skittles that are non-medicated because there are kids that come to Chronic Palooza, and we want to make sure the kids have something safe for them when they come. Even some freeze-dried bananas. Last year, your event, we gave away
67 pounds of freeze-dried Skittles.
What?
is what we gave away.
How many times was that jar filled? Right, you had the big jar.
We had 2 big jars, and each one of them were
Was 30
about
pounds.
35 pounds
Empty them
maximum.
Wow.
We
Do
emptied.
you vac in those jars, or are they?
They're like
They were airtight, so you could suck it out through a knob
Just
that it
keep
had
it
up
fresh.
top, take all the air out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most of the stuff will stay, like freeze-dried stuff will stay really good as long as it's pretty airtight. Skittles will stay really well in most environments unless you get humidity and stuff like that. What's really nice about the ice cream is it like melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of like pop it in there and it's not gritty, it's smooth, it's creamy.
So creamy.
The
Yeah.
key
God.
lime, the
It
key lime
is.
is actually made from his award-winning key lime sauce.
You know what?
So, you know,
There's so many flavors of
the
what to do.
strawberries and the blueberries, everything's made
And everything's
fresh.
homemade, so it's
Yeah.
not like I went out and bought a deal of Blue Bonnet and melted it down and mixed in some stuff and poured it in the molds. No, it's not how it went. It's all whipping cream,
Wow.
milk, eggs, a lot of love. You know, cutting up a lot of strawberries is, you know, a lot of love when Brandy's doing that or I'm doing it or the blueberries and
That's
everything.
what I would do with,
I
with
appreciate
snow
that.
ice cream. I would definitely
Snow
move on
ice
to- But that's been forever since I was a kid.
Oh, with the rock salt and all that, you put it in the
Yeah,
thing
like,
and you crank it around.
Way
and-
when I was young. we
Well,
did
like
that.
she said
We
back
had
then in
snow back
Michigan,
then.
they got to tell you, well, you can't have anything to where if it has to have a refrigerator or freezer. And I thought, well, I'm not going to let you kick me out of a
Soups and
system
ice
that I
cream.
built. So I went into the freeze-dried thing, and that's how I got into it. And
And they're like,
the
"Damn
best
it."
thing dispensary owners liked about it was
Shelf
they
life.
didn't have to shelf life on it was longer. Now
That
I've got
is a
almost
good
a 10-year
thing.
shelf life.
Yeah, I was
on
gonna
it.
say it's
For
like
me,
10
I
years.
love it.
They
'Cause,
didn't
yeah.
have to refrigerate it. They didn't have to keep it in the dark. They didn't have to do this and that. It was shelf stable for them. So I've never had anything returned or anything go bad.
There you
or,
go.
So I've been lucky with that and
Heck yeah.
enjoyed it.
Because that's
so.
where a lot of the folks that are learning the edible business, they lose a lot of their
Perishable.
money.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
because it goes bad, and then they have to refill it to do good by the.
They make too many
patients or whatever.
units. That's
Yeah.
another common mistake is they go.
Now, Larry,
full
have you
in,
ever
like,
thought
oh,
sometime I'll let you try to freeze-dried steak?
Freeze-dried steak.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, dude, it's something different. So
Yeah, it is.
it
How long
is.
does
You
that
just
last
cook it-
okay for?
10 years.
Just
10 years
like
too?
10 years.
No,
You
we
just
gotta-
take
we
it
gotta
out
start
and
doing
soak it
that.
in some
Like, we
hot
gotta buy
water
some
for about
cows
a
and do
minute or
that.
so in hot water, and it'll come right back to how that
You
thing
like
was
give it a
cooked.
water bath.
When we got froze dry, when it, like
Just
the
like when you
caveman
cooked
got
it
stuck
5
in
years
the
ago.
ice.
Wow.
So it's
pretty
been pretty
interesting.
cool.
We need to
be
I
doing
would
that
like
with
to
the
do,
economy.
medicated meals
If it was
so we could
easier
get them
to
out
do.
to the elder people like that. So some I've been working on, like the TV dinners when we were kids. I've done all that. It's just having the trays. Because we've done freeze-dried the meatloaf and we've done the green beans and stuff like that. So if we can get
Let
it
me
all
tell you,
together,
freeze-dried meals will knock any freezer meal out the park. And the reason being is because it's cooked fresh. We have a hot, fresh meal, and then we stick it in the freeze-dryer. So it gets
doesn't
everything.
cook out
It
all the
doesn't cook
nutrients.
anything out. It doesn't, add water or any freezer
if
burn.
anyone's doubting or anything, think of like
Awesome.
this. Go to Brahms and they sell the bananas there that are dehydrated.
Blech.
Tastes like cardboard, I'm sorry. It does. Dehydrated stuff tastes like cardboard.
Yep.
Try a freeze-dried banana. And you can put it on your tongue and I guarantee it's going to
Strawberry
come
here.
right back to like that banana. You're going to feel the creamy. And I'm not a big fan of bananas. I love the banana flavor. I like it in candy and everything. So for me to freeze-dry it and I can eat it real quick, without that,
Yeah.
the soggy
like
stuff.
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
call
It's
it.
like a mushy
Yeah.
banana,
The texture.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the texture thing for me.
I don't know if it's the right place to say this, but I like a firm banana.
I think most people do.
We're going to no
Unless you're
comment on
making
that one.
Unless you're making a banana pudding, and that's
The
all
lady
right.
can say that one.
And so you've got some other stuff in there too, right? You got soups and
We did, and we have the tomato soup and the butternut squash soup that we do, and it's just add hot water. It's been different now, bringing it here to Oklahoma, even to a lot of people, because they just don't know, and they're kind of skeptical on it. But when we go out and we do pop-up stuff like that, and we're making soup right there, and we're adding the hot water, or Brandy's giving
Clicks.
demonstrations or tastes like that.
Yeah, the light
When
bulb.
people actually see it broke up and that hot water added to it, and they taste it, like mom's
A lot
tomato
of people,
soup.
my patient go, gross. Like if I mentioned it to them, like, oh, I got soups, and they're like, soup?
Like,
Gross.
Great soup.
And I'm
What is
like,
that?
well, what are you thinking when I say that? Soup is what I ask. And a lot of their responses are like, yeah, just like a tub of soup that you get at the grocery store. It's not appealing to them. But again, with the freeze-dried stuff, it's homemade soup. So as soon as you add hot water back to it, this isn't even Campbell's out of a can. This isn't Progressive or Progressive.
And that's why the sodium's
whatever.
way down on it. And again, it's all homemade. And it's, like
It's
my
so
Aunt Georgia and them show me how to stuff to make strawberry pies. That's literally an onion, butter, a little bit of sugar, tomatoes, tomato paste, and vegetable stock. So I can keep,
Really good.
that's
beef
all
stew.
it is. A little salt and pepper.
You got
and-
some beef
and
stew?
bring it-
Butternut
And the
squash
reason
is
that we
all-
did this is because I was working with a lot of older folks that are tired of the gummies and even tired of the sweets, and they don't want the ice cream. And a lot of them are diabetic, so they were looking for other things that they could have. So we did the soups. The butternut squash won a High Times Cup, but again, until people see it poured or something, they're skeptical, of course.
Yeah, they go. But then when they see us do it, and they're like, and then they try it, and they go, oh.
Right, when they see it in play,
Right.
and they totally get it, and in a nice presentation, because everybody's out there smoking weed and passing it. Hey, would you like some soup?
Some butter.
Yeah.
And we usually take
Yeah.
it non-medicated, again, so we don't get wherever we're at in trouble,
Right.
handing that out or anything. And tell them, if you want to medicate it, go right in there because it's not going to taste any different. You really can't taste that something I tried for. I've had a lot of people come up with me to the placebo effect. Well, I can't taste marijuana in there. Well, that's something I strive for. And I had a guy really
One
get
of
mad
our
at me on the
funnest-
Cosmic Crunchers, and this is a story because he ate the whole can, and I told him, don't eat the whole thing. It's very medicated. There's 250 milligrams. I think these were 220s. And he ate the whole can. I got this really bad phone call over there at the dispensary, and he was yelling at me and everything. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? Well, I ate that whole can of them goddamn Crunchers there. I couldn't taste anything, so I didn't think there was any damn thing in there like everything else. And he's like, I missed 13 hours of work, goddammit. And that's how that phone call went. I was like, well, sir, it's got a label on there that told you how much. But again, it was nice to hear him
Didn't
say that he
taste
couldn't
anything.
taste it.
And even with those,
Darn.
it's a we have, because we started off with a smaller container, a lot of people are like, oh, 220 milligrams or 500 milligrams, that's what it takes me to get high.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you
different.
this,
Those edibles
Captain
hit
Kirk
different.
takes your challenge.
I will. I'll
We
give
take
you
your challenge in this whole idea of it takes me this much, because most of the patients that we serve and people that we get feedback from, which we gladly take it from anyone.
I want to tell you a quick story.
That's one
real
of the
quick.
things that they
We
will
had
eat
a
one geek bite
transporter come in.
and gone.
The transporter came into the place there, and he's telling the story back. Now, the edibles he can eat, how potent. Man,
He's the
I
man.
can eat 1,000 milligram edible, and I just shit in its face. It ain't never gonna hit me. All right, man. So I gave him a couple of my Geekbites, which we were showing there, which is my version of a nerd rope there. It's a gummy wrapped in, and they're doing very extremely well. But he ate 2 of those, he's sitting there at the table looking at us like, oh, this ain't shit, pops 2 in his mouth, and he's telling us, I got to go to Purcell after I'm done here to, drop some stuff out of the dispensary. So I get this call about 2-3 hours later, and he's like, God damn, Captain. He's like, I don't know what you did, but I got to give it to you. Those hashers ruined me, or the Geek Bites ruined me. Because what ended up happening, the guy goes to Purcell, and he goes into the dispensary, makes a sound. You know how they carry their big cases in with all their loot, and this guy's carrying in a bunch of pounds of weed, a couple of totes full. So he apparently gets home, and the dispensary calls him back and says, "Hey man, you go back and get your totes you forgot and left."
I was going to make a sales call, and then I got high.
buddy.
He laughs in the face of edibles.
I said, by the way, you ate about 2 of those 160 milligrams, Mr. 1,000 milligram, can't touch me, And it is a difference. It's fully activated, and sometimes, even back in the High Times days, again, I'm not a chemist, and I don't know why, and I know other dispenser or edible makers were out there and know what I'm talking about, but there are times that I made a 70% decarboxylated edible compared to 100% decarboxylated edible. And I watched it get more results off patients than I did this fully. Now, we all don't know what all the cannabinoids are in the plant yet. Not every one of them. We don't know what they did. So I don't know what happens in that process in there. Or if
found that
leaving
leaving
some of them
acids
live or
was
not
more effective.
decarboxylated help bind with the decarboxylated part. I never could figure that science out part because
Well, it's a science
You're not
that's
a
actually
scientist.
missing in the science now.
Yes.
So the labs here are not displaying how activated your cannabis is. So they're telling you it's Delta 9, but they're not saying there is a decarboxylation, even in distillate and all of these things. It's either 0% to 100%. Now, and then that's why some people your digestive system has a lot to do with it too. But
Yeah.
where you're testing in the sense of, hey, I eat these edibles all the time, but then I try this person's and whoa, that's your difference. People are using, and sometimes it's because you're getting it cheap too. There is a reason why you're getting it cheap, just for everybody out there in the world, and sure, you'll get the test results you're looking for, but the patient isn't going to get the result that they're looking for. And that's ultimately, I think, what I pride myself in his brands and stand behind his recipes and things like that, because we make sure all of those things are still checking those boxes, where I think a lot of people, and lack of knowledge or even just doing it anymore. And I was showing her, even because I used to run an educational seminar back in 2015. I have like all this old like paperwork before Oklahoma was even like legal. It was kind of cool. We were looking
Yeah,
at
it's
like,
awesome.
oh wow, this is like still relevant information, but still very, new back in the day. But I pulled out the test results from RSO because I was teaching patients how to read these properly and understand them. And I was like, look at right here, it says activation. And I was like, it means a lot to a patient, especially somebody that's taking it for cancer.
Yeah.
A lot of people here, like these penny RSO programs and stuff, please, people, check the test results of what you're buying. Don't just grab the thing and look at the back and
Say
know
it's
what's
RSO,
in
it's
your
going to save me.
medicine.
Please
You
look
know?
what it's made with in there. Find out
Yeah.
what solvents are left in there, if any.
Yeah, because you really want
Pesticide
to
in
find
there.
the cleanest stuff you can find, the best potency you can find, things that are made from flour, not bottom trim.
And make sure you know what it's made with.
Because it's important.
Not paint thinner that some guy went out there and got it, true
Well,
value. And,
I mean, that was Rick's original,
I thought that was
usage.
more Napa, if I remember
naphtha.
correctly.
Yeah,
Not the same.
naphtha, yeah. We're
Well,
about to
because
say,
I know
yeah.
all about this.
But-
I had a friend back in Michigan that worked closely under him, and he was the big oil man of Michigan back then. That was, caring for people. And I mean,
Even us, like when I had
Six
I had a dispensary much like him in Michigan. We were ground roots type thing, and we got really famous and quick and did really well because we tested. So we tested everything that came through, and one of the things that blew my mind was I'd been selling this RSO for a long time. A friend of ours had been extracting it, selling it, get the test results back. I was damn near killing people.
be aware of
It
your
was
best
something
friend
to
bringing
really
your
suck in
concentrates
at
or
the
something
time
to you and
because it
saying,
was-
here,
oh,
man,
sorry.
it's all tested. Here's you a good deal on it. And you're sitting there going, okay, now I'm going to take all this couple of liters I just bought off you and go, I need to go have this tested first. Don't trust them. I don't care who it is. Don't trust them, because you're going to get slapped in your face. Because you're
We've
going
had
to.
stuff come back with pesticides. I mean, these are people that nope, we're going to have it tested. And
We're fully organic.
You
Yeah,
know?
we're living soil.
And then, and then before you know, like,
Miracle
wait,
Grow bags in the back.
oh, test it again. Okay, dude, pay for the test. You test it again.
And then you
Still
get that
has
ghost call.
pesticides.
Well, that's one of the things that you need to do when you come out to Chronic Palooza is to check out the brands and make the relationship with
Yes.
the brands and know who you're buying from. Like, we have the greatest market out there that if you develop a relationship with the brands, you're gonna learn about them. You're gonna be able to stay in tune and follow Captain Kirk over on on the Instagram, Captain Kirk's
Edibles.
Captain
Captain Kirk's edibles.
Well, that's why I say a lot of different events happen, and then you have your educational speaker area and all that. But I find that for at least for what we found at our event, a lot of people like to have the opportunity to just walk up to you and have a conversation
At
instead
your
of it being a big situation and have that one-on-one interaction. So that's the one thing I really like, that for our event, it's not just a business to business, it's very much a business to business and a consumer as well. So you're getting all the patients. You are getting other growers, other processors, other dispensary owners coming in, but everybody at the end of the day is still patients, and everybody's still able to, network and talk to each other and learn. And
Correct.
grabbing your grandma, bringing her out, and say, hey, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Tell them why grandma, tell them why, how you rub it on here is going to make this feel better. And then someone could tell her why it makes it feel better, and she could hear it from someone other than her pothead, granddaughter, and maybe she'll take that serious. And then, because my dad is the living, Carl, man, my
Or
dad,
some of them get this,
he was
yeah,
never ever
test
going to
out,
be into any kind of weed of any sort. And when I got going into this and everything, and he's had knees replaced and shoulder surgeries and stuff. First Chronic Palooza almost killed me. I blew my knee out, and I was able. We had a guest on the show. It was bison extract.
Bison extract.
She was like, "Here, try this. Next time." And I had been going to the doctor, and they were wanting to pull fluid out, and they kept giving me, and I wasn't working. I was dying, man. And then literally, I tried that, and it healed my knee immediately. And so I told my dad, I was like, "Dad, you got to put this on." She was like, "I'm not putting any weed. I'm not no dope. I'm not going to do it." I'm like, "Dad, it's not that. Just put it on you and shut up. You're going to try this." And he did, and he's like, "Holy shit," And so now he's like the billboard spokesperson for topicals, and he actually works in a dispensary and security, and he'll be at the Chronic Palooza. When you see the big tall one, that's my pops.
He's running triathlons now, and he's going to get a 50K in later this month.
He moves much faster when he's at work than when he's sitting around the house trying to play, milk it.
That's
Well, that's one of the.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shout out to the Gone or Forgotten Not Gone crew out from Las Vegas, which one of their big things is to get vets out and to get them active. Because when you're active, you
Forget about things.
totally different mindset, and that's really one of the things about us weeders having these events and things like that. Like there are, they say, oh, it's recreational, like you were saying before. Like no, it's medical. Like, and these events are part of that medicine for people, because there's a lot of people
Because they get out and they bind with people
Yes.
that are just like us, They are the
Well, I
ones.
feel privileged that group is coming in. There's a group of vets. They're like, one person's from this state, one's from this, and they have this little group, and they were all trying to find some place cool to go for 420, and they picked Chronic Palooza this year. So they're all driving in, meeting up here, and then
awesome.
they're going to help build out a little area at the Palooza where people can chill if they need to get away because of loudness and stuff like that, and just a kind
That's
of a
very
chill
cool.
space. And so they picked our spot. So hey,
That's
great.
I'm privileged to
You put the bat signal up in the air, you never know who's going to show up,
You
right?
never
The
know.
chronic signal.
Yeah.
Well, if that tent needs any edibles over there, I'd be more than happy to lend them some. So the better,
We'll
more than happy to hand them some.
make sure we'll
God bless them.
keep that.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. That's the.
Excited to see. We got just. It's going to be a great time.
It is
I'm
going
excited.
to
I
be.
can't wait to meet all the vendors. And by the way, a lot of people have always asked me, why I did all those cups and entered stuff like that. Yeah, winning was cool. I'm not going to lie to you. That was nice. That isn't the reason they did it all. It wasn't. Not like I got any fame. It's like nobody gave you any money for winning a high.
You didn't get any license agreements or anything like that. You
Yeah,
didn't
shit. But the thing about it is each time that I went to those cups, I met unique people, just like I've met her, met you folks, and then other folks around the country. And each time I compete, I may have won against somebody, but I always learned something against everybody I competed against, whether it be in their packaging, their flavoring, or just talking to them, or going up to their booth and learning things from them, or even about them, or their country that they came from. Like Jamaica, I really learned some cool stuff.
Yeah. Imagine.
Jamaican food is, they don't eat like us in America. And when you think it's dirty and nasty over there or whatever, I'll tell you what, when I ate over there, my stomach has never felt better than when I came back to America. Because guess what? There's no McDonald's on the island over there.
No.
Ooh.
I just think it's cool.
What is it
that-
called? McDonald man.
No McDonald's, man.
No McDonald man.
You know what their biggest thing there is? And it looked like your event last year, but it's 24/7. You know what their biggest thing is there?
Smoking weed.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh,
Kentucky
shit.
Fried Chicken.
You won't see more chicken sold anywhere else in the world
Jamaica's got it
than
going on with
Kingston
chicken.
and in Jamaica there. Yep.
Okay.
The Popeyes? Or is it just
Ain't no
KFC?
Popeyes, KFC, man. It looks like a mall. It literally looks like the mall.
The mall of
It's
chickens
that big,
over
and
there.
it's literally going around.
It's just chicken.
It's just chicken, man. KFC.
Wow.
You won't see no McDonald's anywhere on the island.
Wow.
But there's a nice place there called Zimbali Retreats, and you can look them up, folks, and please do. if you ever get a chance to go vacation there, they're cannabis friendly. It's farm to the table. So when you go there and you stay, all your food's growing right there. All your cannabis is growing right there, and it's brought to the table, and they cook for you, and it's the most amazing cuisine
sounds cool.
you will ever have. And it's not expensive to go there. I mean,
Starving as
the
fuck.
guy that started Zimbali Retreats was a guy that was a broker on Wall Street. Had enough, said, fuck it, man. Took
Go there.
off, went to Jamaica.
Farm to table and shit.
Living out on the mountains, you know, taking baths in the spring, shitting in the trees. Over there. Slowly started building this resort, and now they have this big, beautiful place there. And all the farmers and stuff that he lived with, you know, that bringing that farm to the table and food. Everybody eats every night, and fed, and it just built into this big, beautiful place. So,
Zimbali Retreats.
Zimbali
There you go.
Retreats, you know.
I'll have to check it out.
In Jamaica, if you ever get to go over there, I promise you will not. Because you're going up this mountainside. When they were taking me, I thought, boy, am I going to get killed, man? You
never
know,
know.
where are they taking me? You know, and it really, it's
Disclaimer,
just-
you might die on the way.
Don't be nervous when you go up the hill.
Yeah.
You are going to come down.
Between Kingston and Zimbali, that's the dangerous part. Once you're in Zimbali, you're
when you
good.
make it there,
right?
it's good. It's
They
smooth
open up the gate there, and you just go in, and it's the most beautiful thing.
Wow.
My hat's off to them. All about organic
That's
food.
where I want to go.
And just farm to table. That's how they eat every day.
Nice.
Well, I'll have to give it a whirl. So definitely come out, Chronic Palooza. Definitely come out, see Captain Kirk. Definitely go see Brandi in Del City
That's
at
right.
the...
Yes, please.
I know, wait a second. I got this. I got the initials, but I can't. It's the Cannabis something of Oklahoma.
Care.
Cannabis Care of Oklahoma.
Cannabis
There we
Care.
go. You got that. And call Jules to get some Captain Kirk on your shelves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
go
right.
up and vote for
Okiebudz
them
Network.
online. Go to
Okiebudz Network?
chronicpalooza.com and go
That's
vote
my
for
group.
them.
Yeah,
in the
you can
best
vote
of
for both
products.
these guys. Best of product, best edible chef, best sales representative.
There you go.
She
There you
travels
go.
all
Yeah.
around the state, and I got to say,
I was
having
gonna
Jules on
say,
our
it was like
team's
your
been
face
great.
looks so
That's what I'm saying. That's
Okay,
I've
yes, your
been-
first best
She's
sales
so
rep.
humble,
Okay,
but
under the
at
best of
bottom line.
community, because that's enough. We had 3 whole competitions. We had Music Quest, we had Best of Product, we had Best of Community, and you were nominated. That makes. I've been looking at you like I know her face, and I'm
Essential.
because I've even
I've been
seen you and I'm
essential
voting.
since like
Well, she's
COVID
gotten this
happened,
into
man.
like
Like
55 dispensaries and more, and keeps going and really grinding after it. So
for you.
it's been a big help having her on the team. So that's why I wanted to bring her tonight. So
Heck yeah.
I got some
Everybody
awesome
can meet
clientele,
Jules,
like
so.
mom and pops. That's where it's at.
Well, you do a great job for them because they really appreciate a great sales rep because you make them money by being there for them.
They've been
service
telling me
them.
lately. They've been telling me like you're like one of very few vendors I'll talk to, and I'm like,
helpful to
really?
have
Is it
reps.
that bad? Like,
It's that bad.
It's helpful to have
Well, they get,
reps
like
that communicate.
20 people walk in a
You
day.
know,
It
there's
doesn't
a lot
help
of these
that.
They're
reps
like, no,
that
you
don't
answer your
communicate,
phone.
or they'll
You know,
say,
if someone
"Hey, got
don't
the
believe in your
sale.
product,
Have a nice day."
like your
To me,
product, then
and
they
then
shouldn't
I'm
be
like,
working for you. And
wait a
selling
minute
your
here.
product.
Yeah,
Like,
that's absolutely
So
true.
she's
now
been
I got
able
to
to
take
really
care of
try
the
and,
rest of it. Like, no, I don't ever have that problem with Jules. You know, like there's just good communication. The dispensary always knows when they're getting their stuff, or if something changes, I know. You know, we always have like, I don't feel like there's ever any like broken line. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of other people, like I said, it's like, hey, I got so and so. Here's their email, and I'm like, so you want me to give you a commission off of your sale? You know what I mean? And I'm the
Or
one
the
that's
old
reaching
fashioned
out
oh
and doing all the work.
wow,
Doing
like,
all the
yeah,
work.
man,
You know,
like
or
I've
she calls me
driven-
and
Are
she's
you
like, hey,
hiring for
I went
that
here
job?
and I went here and I went here. Yeah, exactly.
I've
need
driven
that
and then
job.
I'd network with other sales reps. Like I got Nikki Dunn out east. You probably
Oh
know
yeah,
her.
Nikki's on your team.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
So
I
helpful.
passed the baton out to her because she is amazing.
go. So you have, besides Captain Kirk stuff, you have a full array of cannabinoids and your
I have different brands.
Yep.
Yeah, like I've been
flour, concentrate.
flour, concentrates. There's
A little bit of everything she does.
Well, you have to have a full suitcase out there if you're going in the place.
Well,
You
'cause some
gotta be-
dispensaries
You
are heavy edibles and more heavy concentrates, and
Yeah.
some are more heavy flowers, more heavy pre-roll.
That is true.
And you got to be able to.
you gotta be versatile.
Service
yeah.
them all. So,
Yeah, because when they don't want one thing, they might want another.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to stay in business.
Yep.
Like, and it's
Everybody.
every little order counts,
Yep.
For sure.
no matter. how
And that's one of the
small or
great
big.
things about if you're a dispensary or anything out there is Kirk's products are are totally different than everything else out there. So when they're tired of the flowers and the dabs and all that kind of stuff,
you some soup.
you got some soup, some crunchers, got some Geekbites over there.
Well, you didn't
too.
waste your money because you can keep it on the shelf for a while.
10 years.
You know,
We have a lot of-
I'd give it 20 years almost, right? I mean, it's going to take you another 2 to find
I
it.
don't know if I can get away with that one, but
Yeah,
I'll stick
no.
with my 10 years. I'm happy
What's
with
that
one?
one?
Right now.
That one. The little Debbie, or what's the one that lasts forever? They say the
Twinkies?
Twinkie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they're not freeze dried. You
Yeah,
I
know?
okay.
know,
number
but just
one.
the fact that can last as many years without it being anything like that.
A McDonald's
makes you wonder.
cheeseburger.
That's pretty good for you to eat.
Yeah,
Right,
right. At least
Cheese
this is freeze dried. Yeah, there's no preservatives keeping it crazy
I always be
for
like, is that
5
gonna kill me?
years.
How big is your freeze dryer? I mean, like, is it the whole bottom
Oh, he's got a bunch
basement
of
or
them.
something
Think
like that?
of
Is
it
it a
about
walk-in?
at
Or?
the size,
No,
maybe
it's
a little bit bigger. Think about
This table.
Well, there's more than
a
one.
college size refrigerator.
Okay.
It's like vac ovens they use in a
Pretty much.
Like a
It is the size of a
dishwasher,
back
but
oven.
it weighs a ton.
it's got
You
Well,
tell
what
she's
happened
helped
here
us
when we
move a
had
few.
our kitchen, and I told you the story, we had to move everything because we had a kitchen and we were under someone's license there, and I found out, it was really hard going under someone else's license because we were finding out we were making our product, and I ended up with this great big sticker on here, and it said somebody else's company. I won't say the name out there so I don't piss anyone off. But anyway, it had this big old sticker on there, and it was another edible company. And I'm going, bigger than my sticker.
on your
So I'm
jar.
going, what the hell? He
Yeah.
comes in yelling at Brandi and I one day, and he was like, well, I own the damn license here, so if I want to put literally told me, if I want to put a fuck you sticker on your can, I can. And of course I'm looking at him like,
no, you can't.
no, you can't. So 9:30 in the morning the next morning, Brandi and I are out there, the U-Haul truck and her son, and with the help of Jules' family, again, bless them, they've helped us out in many ways, and there's many more. But showed up last moment. We got that stuff out because I was afraid the guy was going to lock the key on the place and say, hey,
You know
I'm
what?
taking all your shit. Because turns out this guy's sitting there telling me, well, I'm going to build a kitchen down there. Not only that, Brandi and I were doing other
Steal all
things
our
in there. And he
recipes.
was like, well, what is that you and Brandi were making in there the other night? That's something new in the packaging. And, well, how much money are you guys making? And I'm going, what the hell is this? I got cameras all around, and I'm
Yeah.
going, I'm renting this place for $1,500 a month. This guy thinks he can come in, use my equipment, do whatever he wants.
It's amazing, a lot of people are like, oh, it'd be the funnest job in the world working in the weed industry, and we all know sitting around
Yes,
this table, that, and
I've
it's the people
witnessed
that
the
you meet, like,
pitfalls.
I
So
would
many
like to say I'm an
things.
empath, like, I have like, I feel you, like, I understand you, like, we're gonna be best friends, like, and we really got ourselves into one of those situations where it was like, hey, we're not doing shit, you got something going on, let's all help each other, that turned into, wow, you're very successful and I'm going to ride your back to the very end of it.
I mean,
And
all the way into where they came out. I've done hashers since 2008, which is just a hard candy or anything, but I call them hashers, and I've kind of dug on that name ever since then. I do them in sugar-free, and he comes out showing me a package with his name on it and saying hashers on it. What the hell are
he
you doing,
misunderstood
dude?
the point of white labeling, So it was like, hey, you haven't gotten your stuff up yet. Would you mind? Like, I have some clients that are interested in hard candy. Would you mind? Sure, we'll white label you some of our hard
Oh,
candy.
no, I want to come in
problem.
and have you teach me how to make this stuff, Kirk.
That was later, but either way, yeah, it was just like one of those weird things. And then he's like, "Why is he asking her? Why is he asking her this?" And we were like,
The
"Oh
human
no, like
beings
he's trying
are
to
the
steal."
most weirdest creatures. You can never figure them out to find out why people do what they do, because in their mind they don't see anything wrong with any of that, and it's okay to just stab you in the back, and they don't even have that in them to know, like, I'm really screwing this person over, because they're too consumed with self. It's really sad, but happens all the time. We're just
More
cynical
often
little
than you would
creatures,
think,
us human
aren't you?
beings.
Yeah, the good old boy shit surprised me, though. That was
Yeah.
my hometown in Washington, Oklahoma, and I got to tell you, I was shocked because my stepdaddy, who hated weeds so bad, literally where I had this kitchenette down there, was literally maybe 100 yards from me. So, I mean, this is literally the small town I grew up in. I thought I was going to go back and do something different. I thought this guy was on board. I was going to do something different even for my hometown, maybe make a candy after the Washington Warriors. Nope, that didn't work out at all. Yeah.
Washington Warriors. Yeah, they weren't
But
interested,
you
huh?
know, it
They-
was a learning experience, and you take that, and you always learn. I hate it when you fail, or not even failing, but something bad happens. It's like you
Well, it
dust
opens
yourself
up
off,
other
you fe-
things,
and
yeah.
it makes your receptors open where you see things, and it's like, okay, that'll never happen again, you know. And you learn from it, and you grow, and you're probably in a much better place now anyway.
We are.
At
We're
the
very
end of the day,
thankful to
it's
have
always
it
a better
where we have it in the
solution.
village. And the other thing, when we worked there for the village, when we did our kitchen there, people were coming up from where we have to go to the city council or whatever on that. First, they quite weren't with us, made us wait quite a while. But then, after it was all done and when they gave us the approval, they're out there in the parking lot asking Brandi and I, hey.
They were
Bubbles from
concerned.
grandparents
They were
and-
concerned with us being too close to homes because we were processors.
Oh.
So we just had to go to the council and explain to them, hey, we're simply just making edibles. So we don't process anything. We buy
make
it
any
all already
concentrates or
processed.
anything
Then
like
we infuse all the edibles. And they were like, oh, well, okay, like that's not threatening. And then actually when we went through the whole process, they had more questions and were more interested in the whole process because
Even
they
the
had a
police
bunch of
chief was
dispensaries.
out there.
It's because they
This
don't
little
know.
city had never
No.
seen a
They
process.
just
we were
come up with their
educated
own
on it,
ideas
so-
of what they
How do you
think
get
it
the
is, and they just
edibles
don't know.
out of your place?
We were out in the
No,
park.
it's
Through the door?
We were talking
No.
to people, hey, I need this for
Out the
my
front door.
uncle or my grandpa over here. Can I try
I just
this?
worry about
Brandi
people
and I
taking
were,
advantage of
sure,
people
so,
sometimes.
hopefully.
So like
Happens more often
I
than
see
not.
it happening all the time.
Yeah.
Like there's
But
a
when
lot
they're
of
at
new
they're
dispensaries
at their last
open.
end, or even anyone that is non-cannabis, and they're watching a family member, whether it be breast cancer, testicular cancer, or the seizures with the kids or anything
that's
like
different.
that, they will come
Yeah.
to the cannabis use. That's their last resort. What
Yeah.
else are they going to do?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I've seen it work. Maybe at least 9.5 out of 10, my own personal experience. So
everybody will receive some degree of relief from it, whether it cures you or not, whether it extends your life to be a better experience as you walk on out of it. Like I totally agree with that if you meet us, you're at the end of the stop. Like you've exhausted most choices. You've run that gamut. Unfortunately, you should have made us the first stop.
I know, and that's
Yes.
the part
Rather than
that,
the last
that is
stop.
the most
Get there too
disheartening
late.
is
Well, that's
when you
what's
find
good.
the people that are kind of like stage 4 already, and it's like, damn it.
Well, that's
We
where
got
this
stage one,
education.
or
Well, and
two.
education is
I could've flipped it
huge.
around and-
Because even
another
in
thing
stage
even about
4s.
edibles, I found out a lot of people have been scared off from it because I've learned through some of the celebrities I've met, or even things like that. People have been given too much, trying to fuck them up.
Sure.
And even some of these older people thought, well, Grandpa, it'd be funny to get them high. They got them so goddamn
Terrifying.
high on edibles
Scared
that
'em
they
to
don't
death.
want to do it again.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
And let me tell you, if you take too much edibles, and even for me, I've been doing, tell me guys, I got a big tolerance. And I couldn't eat a 500 milligram edible and feel good.
No,
It would be too much
it's
for me.
uncomfortable.
200's my nice, 150.
No, I do 200 milligrams of RSO in the
thought you were
morning,
gonna
which
higher
the
one.
RSO I'm usually doing. I was thinking about it today. He's usually run about 6 1/4 on the THC and the rest in cannabinoid. So it's not like I'm getting 200 milligrams of THC.
And you've been doing this regimen
It's-
for a while, too.
Oh
so it
yeah,
built up.
right. So it doesn't.
Now
it
I
doesn't.
understand
Your
the
tolerance
look that he
is
was
high.
giving
He's
me
gonna
when
be
he
alive forever.
like I got the other Millennium Falcon. I got the key lime pie one.
Yeah, she got the
And
key
it was broken, so I got the darn.
That's the
The
we
oh
should try that
darn.
one
And
because we
like,
can't
but
sell
he was
that one.
looking at me because I'm just eating a big old hunk of it. And he's like, yeah. I'm all like, how many milligrams? He's like, I'm like, awesome.
The right wing's is gone, so it's not as much.
Yeah, I tore off the little front trying to store it. I didn't have anything
I love
airtight.
being
Yeah.
I love judging
I
the
like
new
mistakes
stuff. Like I love
sometimes,
judging flour and I love judging
Well, speaking of
edibles.
mistakes, we were doing the Skittles, and this is one
Oh,
of
yeah,
our,
we got the
Decided we
oopses.
needed to start a
this is one of our
bags.
oopsie bags right here. And then there's a whole bunch of Skittles, but that bag right there is probably about
6,000 milligrams.
I would say 6,500 milligrams in there.
a
You will
party.
tell when you open
It's a
this
party
bag
in a
of
bag.
Skittles, you'll smell all the Skittles in the rainbow, but you'll smell your cannabis. I guarantee these are some butt kickers. So
The
we call that
oopsies
the
are
oopsie
basically
bags.
ones also that don't pop in the freeze dryer. So every now and again we have anomalies with the freeze dryers where they do weird things they've never done before because everything is calculated, done the same way. And they don't pop the Skittles. So we have medicated Skittles, but they're not popped.
So they're not
so
the
they're just
freeze-dried, they're
normal
the regular chewy
Skittles.
Skittle, but they're medicated.
But they're mixed in
but
with
that's
all
in
of
the
the
oopsie
other
bag,
ones.
so.
That's like it's
How
the
much
bonus
is it?
in that world. The bonus
We're
is
thinking about
good.
bringing it. We were like, you know
Yeah,
what,
try to
that's
test
actually
the
fun.
oopsie bag. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't really matter, right? You give them one, and
That's
you're like,
it.
here, that's it. And all of them should be the same, right? It's like
It's
every
still the
10
same
pounds, they're
We've got
Yeah.
a guy from James Bridges from Herbage Magazine.
Sure.
He just loves the Skittles, and I gave him an oopsie bag there, and I kept getting text messages all day, dude, I'm fucked up. Thank you, this is a great high, blah, blah, blah. So shout out to him.
So he gets
He sent us songs about, I didn't even know there was a song out there about Skittles, but there is.
Yes,
So
which we're
it's a
not.
weird song, by the way, for anyone out there
I would
I would
listening.
imagine
it would,
because
yeah.
their commercials are weird, like where they're like, have them
Oh,
all
I
on.
yeah, picking them
I
up.
have PTSD from that, man, picking out the,
Yes.
I wanted to
weird.
do that
Those are
for
the
Halloween.
funniest-
I told him and I needed to do that
Taste
for
the
Halloween
rainbow.
and put the
I like the
freeze-dried
Skittles. They're
Skittles
always
on
weird
her.
little commercials, but I like them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Come on, that would have been hilarious.
All right, so let's get ready to go to Chronic Palooza here.
That's
Yes.
right. It's coming on down.
We're
Countdown,
going to do that.
countdown.
Follow Captain Kirk's Edibles over there on Instagram. Go to the Cannabis Care
Oh, yeah.
of Oklahoma over
Yes.
there in Del
Get all
City.
Captain Kirks.
And by the way, for many folks
Great
coming
flower.
out from Seminole out there, if you're
Yes, thank
listening, out in that area, to Chronic Palooza out there to El Reno, come
Stop
check
walking
out Exotic Meds. They're going to be out there. They're in your hometown
They got
area.
some
They'll be
great
at my
flour
booth.
like I got. We have.
We're
They
gonna
just
have
had a big
lot of
party
flower
the other night,
vendors.
right? Didn't they have a big party the other night? Or is that Exotic Cannabis?
Well,
Are they different? Do they have a yellow sign?
Seminole had a big one, and
Seminole
they're
had a
going to.
big
He's
thing
got
just
another one
recently.
coming up down there
Yeah.
pretty soon. But
There was something else.
Jason and Georgia down there, two really nice people. They're bringing a lot of stuff that they're giving away and stuff that they're going to sell too, because of course you want, trying to make
They
some
got
money
all the
there.
good
But
bongs and the pipes and all the fun stuff that we need to.
Exotic Cannabis and
Exotic Meds of
Exotic
Seminole.
Meds, Seminole.
And they'll be at the Chronic Palooza.
Yep, they'll be there at our booth.
Oh, yeah.
Come check us out. We'll have lots
We're
of
gonna be
stuff.
partying.
We look forward.
having a good
And you'll be there,
time.
right, Jules? You'll be
Yes,
at the Chronic
Jules is
Palooza.
coming
Jules is
in on
coming
Sunday.
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 That's the Bad Bitch Day with Trina.
Yeah, you got to put your
Bad
dance
Bitch
shoes
Day
on
both
there
days, but
because
Trina's
she's
that day.
Trina.
Cool.
She's so dedicated to being around the state that she had an event, already a pop-up thing that she,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah,
important.
Calera, man.
And they
Top
support our
notch.
edibles, so it's important that we have Jules there.
Well, that's it. It's always a juggling thing. It takes a village, and it's tough to find good people out there. And so we're grateful for besides the producers and the dispensaries, but great sales reps like Jules, and go vote for her because
Sure. Yes.
she's a
I
road
have to
warrior.
rep multiple brands, and I also do patient drives as well, or clinics
Yeah.
for Hawkeye Consulting. So that's what I'm doing Saturday. But I'm also repping Captain Kirk's brand, and I'm also repping for Be Elevated and Every Seed Canna Company. So it's a lot to juggle.
Juggling, there you
Like
go.
I am juggling a lot of things, and it's a lot of responsibility. Just responding to
Yeah.
emails
Making
and
it
phone
happen.
calls and
Yeah.
text messages.
But again, it's great that we have her on our team because it
Yep.
takes a lot of stress off us. You know how it is having someone.
Yeah.
But finding an employee, finding her was like gold, but especially trying to find employees for the dispensary and stuff like that.
It's always a challenge.
If there's someone out there that is honest and wants to work in the cannabis industry,
man,
because you are on
patient.
camera, please
And
come
they
on
don't
in.
care. Yeah.
I'm a passionate patient, and I love edibles, and I love finding that good quality, and I think everybody should have it everywhere, like all over the state. They should all have all this good stuff.
And the good thing about, that was we were giving them 25% off, to keep them there, to keep people at our dispensary. Because anything that we got there on the shelf, Brandi and I try. And I'm a very, very, very picky cannabis smoker. A lot of people around the country will tell you.
I couldn't buy anything a lot of the time.
Like I'm called an asshole sometimes.
So you've walked out of a dispensary without buying weed before?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
many
many
times.
My
With
famous one is here, and yeah,
Dude,
I got
I love
11%
dispensary
terps. Yeah, I'm still laughing about that one a year later.
Well, we have actually, because he, like I said, a lot of people don't know he can't see. So then, like, I go into the dispensaries with him, even more so sometimes, just like so he can be like, "What does that say? What is this?" And I'll
So he's
be
not
like,
reading
"Hey,
the
this is
waffle iron,
whatever."
right? It's
Yeah.
I mean, I can't read this stuff that's
Exactly.
written on
And a
there,
lot of
so.
people, are they're just not. You couldn't tell them enough times. This person cannot see. They'll bring them the test results.
They'll give
have
me
them try to
paperwork. Here, read this. Can we send you text messages? Sure.
And for some
I just told you I'm fucking blind. Go ahead, send it to me.
Good day.
I had to tell one chick one time because she wouldn't let me like help him because I didn't have my Oklahoma card or whatever at this time. I just moved here. I had a Michigan card, and it was a really weird concept to me to be like, oh, I have to get an Oklahoma, like why can't I use
here
my
too?
Michigan card? What the hell? Yeah. So I was just, like I said, I just went in with him. And most places I go are cool. I'm not buying anything. I'm just helping him out. Oh, no, not this place. So then I finally looked at the lady and I said, why don't you try doing your job as a bud tender then? Like, he's trying to figure out what he's trying to buy. You're not allowing me to help him through this process.
Well, you can't help him no
And that
more.
was one of the, yeah. And so she come out and she pushes the book in front of him. And he's just like, really?
Larry, I'm kidding you not. This chick literally put on her gloves. She pulled out a little bud from the jar, and she sat there with her scissors. And
Oh, she's gonna give it to the nth.
there's your gram.
I hope they're out of business.
No, but
They will.
Well, I better not say nothing, but no, they're not. They're right across the street from us, folks.
Oh,
there
but
you
don't
we were just trying to check stuff out. You want to go around and see what people are doing around you, especially, and figure out, what
Yeah,
your
no,
competition
it's cool, yeah.
has, what you might have different from
I
everybody
mean, I'll
else.
do that with weed man.
Well, the
Whatever.
best, part about
Customer
this is
service,
That's how I know if they value your
laugh on it
brand.
is
I look
we
at
get
what
a lot
they
of calls
price,
or
and I'm
people
like,
that
oh,
would come
okay.
over to see her dispensary there, and they end up at their dispensary, and I get this phone call. Hey, man, I'm not at your
When we
dispensary.
first
I'm
got
over here. And we went in and asked for Captain Kirk, and there ain't no Captain Kirk in here. So I wanted to call that dispensary up. Hey, this is Captain Kirk. I got any messages over here? I haven't done that yet. I've stayed
Oh,
nice.
it's hilarious. I can't tell you how many calls when we first got there. And he is right, because when we first, Del City has weird flag rules, and like I'm all pavement, so I can't like put a bunch of flags out, and it was difficult. And they had a very much bigger dispensary sign that was legible. So when they would ignore Google, Google says turn right. Oh no, I'm gonna go left.
There's a big sign.
over
I'm
here.
gonna go to that one.
But more so than not, they would come over and be like, "Yeah, we went over there. They didn't know who the hell Captain Kirk was."
We
Well,
just
you
sat
went
there and
left
laughed. So we've
We'll
had
get
a
you a
lot
job
of fun.
over there.
God
Well, there you
bless
go.
Oklahoma.
Come on out and laugh. Chronic Palooza. Get to meet Captain Kirk.
Steve Oswald will be out there doing some comedy.
Steve Oswald going to be there. There's comedy going on
Oh,
out there.
awesome.
Talk to Brandi about her dispensary. Jules about her amazing lines, right, on Sunday.
Do some dabs.
Do some dabs.
Do
Comedy.
some dabs.
Trina,
Days.
Tay Money, AP will be out there.
I mean, Trina.
I'll have to wake him up back there and be like, yo, man, 23 hours a day. You can make
AP's
it,
gonna
guy.
try to stay awake through. This is Chronic Palooza week. He gets worked to death
Yeah.
this week.
Man,
Yeah,
it's
I
just-
think we all do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
Everybody
one,
wants you there.
he just don't ever say no. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's come on. We got this to do.
She ain't the one to
You
do
got to
that
put boundaries
with, that's
on
for
me, or I'm
sure.
gonna keep on going. I push you to the limit this week.
Push it to the limit.
Sometimes that's what we
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
do,
yeah,
you know?
there's a
He's
song
used to
like that,
it.
isn't
He's used to it. Yeah.
Well, any shout outs from any folks over there before we get on out of here? You
Oh
want to give
my
any?
God, if you want to
I'd like to give a shout out to you guys there at Chronic Palooza. Again, you guys have done a, I know how hard it is to put an event together. I can only imagine even yours being bigger so here. So, humps to you guys. And I was
Very much.
cool on my judge's kit, so I'm ready for that. I think there was some really good concentrates. I'm anxious to see what everybody else thought, what Brandi and I thought.
That's always the fun part, to see what everybody says compared to you, especially like he said, because I'm snobby in the concentrate world. He's snobby in the marijuana world. So like we're excited to see what everybody else
And then you got
says
the
about
edibles.
it.
Y'all just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So we're curious.
a
And again,
very
shout out to everybody here in Oklahoma, all
blurry
the people
week.
that put in.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking forward to meeting a lot of people there.
And it's our officially our first cup, so or not cup award show. So we'll learn and we'll do things better the next time, just like anything else. And I'm just happy we had so many participants that were able to participate.
I just got your guys'
I'm
awards
glad.
look really awesome. Even last
They're
year,
nice.
Kirk and I were like, huh. And just so we're putting it into the universe, I'm just saying, we'd met a lot of the fine folk here last year. You guys invited us to the award show, even though we had nothing, we hadn't even launched yet, you know. We were just along for the ride, having fun with everybody. And somebody had said to us, hey, you'll be holding one of those next year. And
Yeah,
so
you
we're
will
putting it
be.
in the
I hope so.
universe that might be an
I think it's a great
actual
job.
thing.
Yeah,
I
good
put
time
them in
last
key
year.
spots. Like I
It's
try
fun.
to be really
It's
strategic.
nice to see it
and-
come full circle,
Well,
and here we are.
I designed
you
it
know?
It's got a
from
budget
scratch,
for
so
it.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
That was
It is
all
cool.
my
They
little
look-
idea. I was like, I
Compared
want the palooza in the top. I want the shining up through there. I want it blinking on us.
Let me tell you,
like
people
a
love
lifesaver.
lights.
Like a lifesaver.
I put a light
It's not a
underneath my
lifesaver.
rig.
It almost
and
looks like a
people love it.
lifesaver.
It is beautiful.
Purple lifesaver.
It's nice. I love it.
It's beautiful.
Yes. It's definitely not cheapskate. It's a nice,
Wow.
nice little
They are
beauty.
nice.
Kill a motherfucker
did
when they come
great.
in your house.
Come in there.
That's right. It'll make a great
Yeah, it
mantelpiece.
I
Just
think
in
you have
case.
touched it before. That's your first time. How heavy is that?
That is heavy.
You know, it's pretty much the marijuana golden awards nowadays, you know, so Golden Globe Awards.
That's it.
Getting better.
And all the
Getting
successful
better.
brands
That's
come
right.
to the Palooza,
Yes.
come to the Grinder,
That's right.
and eat chicken fried steak from the Chuck House.
He loves the Chuck House down there.
Have you
we're
been
gonna have
down
to
in
check that
Noble
out.
yet?
That's too far,
that
Kirk.
one.
I'm 10 minutes, man.
Yeah,
If
he's
it's
like,
more
I
than
like
10
to run
minutes,
around
it's
the
it's
corner.
it's too far.
God damn it, you're going to have to get on that helicopter, fly down there to,
It's not that
Noble,
far.
huh? To Ishin's Chicken? Is that?
There's
oh,
a-
no.
There's a couple of places.
No, it
See, it's got to be chicken fried
Kendall's?
chicken, man. The
You
mystery
talking
meat
about Kendall's
gets
or are
me.
you talking
I'm not
about
even talking about
Tiffany's?
Kendall's.
Oh,
No,
I'm
talking
no.
about Tiffany's.
Tiffany's.
Oh,
talking about
that's
Tiffany.
something I haven't heard
Got to be
of.
chicken fried chicken.
Benny,
I
there's
don't.
a little
Tiffany.
kid.
Larry, I'm telling you, this is the best breakfast place and my best chicken
He's
fried
telling
steak that
you.
you will have. They'll bring it out there, but when I took Brandi there first time, people are walking out. She's like, man, I don't think we can eat inside. And I'm sitting there telling her that's left.
Kind of pandemic then.
She got her a chicken fried steak sandwich, and I'm telling you, folks,
It was
it
as
was
big as
bigger
that
than my
damn
mat. Came
It
out
was
on
awesome. I was like, looking,
And the
he's got a
potatoes
picture of
and
me with it. And
everything.
I'm
So
like,
it's a bunch of guys that run the whole place. I mean, there's nobody else. The first time I ever seen a man take platters this big and line 10 of them
Oh,
up
yeah, they
on
got
it
those skills.
and put them down and literally set the and didn't spill a drop.
Pro.
best service you'll ever get, like no BS. You know how like some people are real campy. Come on, you
Yeah,
go out
sure.
and they're
No.
just
This
real
place, I'm
campy
telling
with
you, Larry,
you.
it's
know?
worth the drive. If you don't
They're
like
not-
your
I've been
meal, I'll
eating
give
Get
you
your
since I
money
was a
meal,
back.
kid.
get your stuff,
I'll
get
give
your
you money
drinks
back.
filled.
They're a morning place. They're not open on Mondays, Sundays, or Mondays.
Yeah,
So don't drive
forget.
down on a Monday because we've done that to go down there and eat. We get pissed off. They ain't open, goddammit.
So wait, let's go with
I'm
what days are they
confused.
actually open?
Tuesday through Saturday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday through
I
Saturday.
was like,
They got
hold on.
weird hours, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're closed by 3 in the afternoon.
Oh,
So.
so it's like
It's
a Jimmy
just
Egg
a
situation.
breakfast.
Like you gotta be done.
And
Lunch,
the best
be done.
pork chops.
Oh, the pork chops there for breakfast.
All right.
We're foodies, right?
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's why I'm
Let's do
290
it.
Well, I'm
pounds
making me
and
hungry
twisted
now. I
steel
gotta
and
go eat
sex
something.
appeal.
And there you have it. Another wonderful grind. Thanks so much for everybody coming in.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having
Thank you for having
Appreciate
us.
you.
It's such a
Appreciate
pleasure.
y'all.
We had a good time.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing you. It's Chronic Palooza. AP, you got anything on the way out of here? Let's go to sleep. Supersonic Chronic.
I'm just gonna be up printing some more labels and stuff
There you go.
all night, burn the midnight hour.
That's what we're going to do. Go back.
We get to go back.
Yeah, it's a 24/7 job,
Never ends.
right? I'm sure you've got
Well, I guess
plenty
it won't be too long.
to still do in your day, and
Lists.
You have a list of
I want to
things.
do it
Some
tonight.
emailing. So
There you
many
go, so-
emails.
Need 3 or 4 of
thanks,
us.
my mom and dad made it all possible.
Lots
Good night,
of
love you,
emails.
peace and chicken grease, and don't forget to smoke weed every day. I'm Larry, the man on weed, and we are out of here.
Out of here.
Peace.
Good night.
Here, Larry. There's some strawberry.